What would you say to the women that may be looking at this and say, "See, that's that nonsense they talking about"?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still.
Oh, and I say this with all due respect. You don't marry a man and then turn him into a man worth marrying.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. You remember that video of the woman that said that she would iron the clothes for her husband to go and meet side chick? Remember that pastor? I can't pronounce her name, but remember that I just posted that video a couple of days ago. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. There are more clips coming out that strike the conversation because this woman went on to really elaborate on how the dynamic in a relationship and a marriage. And when she was asked, women will be saying that, oh, may this love not find me, this is nonsense and all that. And she said that is why they are single, because she is expecting women to build with a man that is giving them such abuse. And this has struck a conversation of coming for single women when you, like married women kind of single shaming single women that, oh, that's why you're single, because they don't have a man. And there's also an interview of where she came back to backpedal and talk about how it's not all that oh, it was just a 20 seconds clip, her talking about their marriage and that happened a long time ago. Anyway, this has struck an entire conversation. And for me, I'm just like, really, you're coming from single women like that? Anyway, guys, let's go check out the video, okay? Our response to this entire controversy, because she got the heat and now she's almost like, oh, that was not it. Girl, you said what you said. You did what you did. Yes, you were emotionally, you were responding from a place of trauma. And now you're like, oh, it's not all that. I don't understand how people like these that are pick-me women are giving advices and telling people how they should move around in their marriage, how they should navigate marriage, where they don't even have a healthy relationship. They have a trauma relationship where they had to stay, where they are pick-me. Anyway, guys, let's go check out this video, people's response to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Honest about that, but I was confident that we should be together. It's very unique.
And so, a lot of stuff that y'all are saying is going to trigger a lot of women. Mm-hmm. They're going to look at it like, see, that's that struggle love they talking about. I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want this struggle love. I don't want to have to deal with a man that has to go through all that and me lower my standard, lower my value, lower everything that I know that I am as a woman to work through the cultivation of a man, for a man to be in this broken state, disrespectful, calling me out my name, parading women in front of me, and then I'm going to pray for his deliverance and pray, no, God, I need the reformed man. Bring me the man that after he's been set free and delivered. I don't want that process.
They want that finished product.
So my question to you, because only you can say that, what would you, because I don't even want to say advice, how can you reframe or state, because this is your story, this is your journey,
my story.
It's your story.
Right.
Sure.
What would you say to the women that may be looking at this and say, see, that's that nonsense they talking about?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still. Because I'm sure somebody had been in your life already.
You don't pick the fight.
And you didn't want to give the investment for that person to become somebody, and then you lost them probably a long time ago. And you should have just worked with them from the beginning and just worked out the kinks and worked it out, because a man can always build. Money can always be made, you know, and that's what we do. We build a life together. And I'm so thankful that that's what we've done. And that's why I think I value and love you so much, because we've built our life. And so they miss that building process because they want to come into it already done. Now, I get it. Eve was put on the earth with everything done. I get it. That's why women want things to be set and done, because Eve showed up and everything was named and it was just there.
Wow.
But at the same time, God can give women a resilience because we're a helpmeet for a reason. And we're supposed to help meet the need and help complete the man. I know it's going to cause a fight with that too, but I'm very into that because I'm living it. I'm a living example of it works. When you line up your life and get behind your man that is following God, that's submitted to God, and you say, Lord, what can I do to make him better? Your life overall becomes better.
Here's the episode I was talking about. Take a look at that.
Oh, I lost it.
That it was abusive. That singlehood isn't a punishment. And
I never said singlehood was a punishment. I've got a daughter.
You just said when you came back, when they're like, what do you think when people state that like they don't want to stay that long? And you said, well, that's why they're single.
I'm saying no. I'm saying is from early on in stages, people, to me, my opinion is there are people that want to date, but they want a finished product. And sometimes you've got to build with that person to become the established man or woman of God, is what I meant. Not take abuse, be a doormat, be cheated on and take it until you can make it. That's not, I wouldn't advise that to anybody. I've got 5 children, 2 daughters, 3 sons. Okay. My children are healthy and whole. I would not advocate any of this treatment for my children, my church members, or any, like I said, my worst enemy. So please understand that that's not what this was. And I'm sorry that I didn't say what I went through was traumatic. It was painful. It was abusive, and it was wrong. I thought me sharing that was giving that definition, because clearly those treatments are painful, abusive, and wrong. But I should have put trigger warning.
Right.
This is emotional abuse. And I, and my immaturity and my lack of identity and my not knowing who I was, didn't know that it was dysfunctional until I realized who I was as a woman of God, and what God said was marriage, and what God said was relationship, and what God said was family, and what God said was healed. I didn't know that until I knew, oh, we're doing this wrong. There's a better path. And so therapy, I'm looking at some of the comments. My husband and I have been in therapy, the same therapist.
Since 2010.
We
15 years.
Our church. Here's our therapist number.
Absolutely.
We see him on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
We understand that it takes community, it takes the word of God, it takes therapy, together and apart. So we advocate these things to maintain health.
Right.
I wasn't able to, I didn't know, Latarius, I didn't know it was a counseling session or we weren't thinking that way. We're thinking it's an interview about our marriage, what we went through, and how we overcame. And now we have a book called Love Letters, How to Make Your Marriage Better, based on what we've learned through our 34 years experience of marriage together, from a very rocky 4-year start when we were teenagers.
And the thing is this, we've been sharing this same story for 20 years. And this is the first time that we've ever got any backlash. There's a lot of people that watched a portion of it, and they've come to a conclusion that all this has been going on right now. And we're talking 28, 29 years ago.
Right.
And I'm looking at some of the people like, I'm 24 and I would never go through that. I'm thinking, when we did this, you weren't even alive.
Right. And I have a lot of women that have reached out to me wanting help with their marriages, wanting advice on how to work through things. And so there's a lot of positives that are happening that are coming out. Yeah. And they weren't traumatized and they weren't triggered. They said, okay, maybe this woman has an answer, not to see an abuse, not to be treated poorly, but to know who you are and understand that what God wants from you, and hopefully apply that to your current relationship or marriage. Or single women, you can be completely whole and complete and be single and be a strong, mighty woman of God. So please, those things that came out in that 1 hour and 20-minute interview, and the 20-second clip of me ironing his clothes for what I assumed was a side chick, because he wasn't coming home on the weekends when he was 20. That little clip right there, I did that during that one little short season of my 34-year marriage, 36 months of that to the rest of our whole life together. So that's not what this is. That's not who we are. And I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your viewpoint. And I appreciate mental health. I'm actually certified in cognitive behavior therapy. I'm an advocate for it because it changed my life.
What would you say to the women that may be looking at this and say, that's that nonsense they talking about?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still.
Oh,
Because I'm sure somebody had been in your life already. You didn't want to give the investment for that person to become somebody, and then you lost them probably a long time ago. And you should have just worked with them from the beginning and just worked out the kinks and worked it out, because a man can always build.
and I say this with all due respect. You don't marry a man and then turn him into a man worth marrying. I understand that there are men that are not finished products. They may not be where they need to be financially. But as far as character is concerned, he needs to already be there when you say I do. Mm-hmm. A man should not come to you as raw clay, needing for you to mold him into a man. That's a job his parents should have done. That's the job that he should have done prior to you getting there. Well, she's talking about y'all want a ready-built man. Yes, when it comes to that, absolutely. What's the point of a vetting process if you're marrying a man who isn't what you want? With this logic, you might as well just pick a man at random. Now, this is what I will say, because I'm a dating coach and not a therapist. This is the result of her own personal trauma. In this interview, she describes how her father cheated on her mother, and she thinks that her mother should have made it work with her father. I feel like she's trying to make right what she felt was made wrong in her childhood. I feel like you're trying to heal your inner child by doing what you feel your mother did wrong. But your mother leaving her cheating husband was the right thing to do for her. Wives don't ruin families by leaving cheating husbands. Husbands ruin families by cheating on their wives.
What would you say to the women that may be looking at this and say, see, that's that nonsense they talking about?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still. Because I'm sure somebody had been in your life already.
You don't pick the fight. You don't.
And you didn't want to give the investment for that person to become somebody, and then you lost them probably a long time ago.
The pastor lady said, that is why you are single. Women, black women are constantly told, you are single because you're too picky. You are single because you're too masculine. You are single because you are not submissive. You are single because you are educated. You are single because you're not educated. This lady opened her mouth to say, that is why you are single. Nobody said anything about the man. The man who stole, who was an armed robber. The man who told her she was not his preference. The man who cheated on her multiple times. There was no advice for the man. Nothing. This is not love. This is not how you build a partnership. This is trauma. This is patriarchy. This is spiritual bypassing. This is religion being used to excuse and to justify terrible behavior. Being single is not a deficit. Being chosen by a man, it's not the price. It is not the price. Drop down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this.
What would you say to the women that may be looking at this and say, see, that's that nonsense they talking about?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still. Because I'm sure somebody had been in your life already.
You don't pick the fight. You know?
And you didn't want to give the investment for that person to become somebody, and then you lost them. Probably a lot.
Boy, when you said it gets worse, it gets worse. Because what did I just see? What did we just see? And it's like, why must you always bring up somebody's singleness to now use as a defense mechanism against your horrible, terrible, unfaithful marriage? Why would we want to be like you?
Exactly.
First of all, fornication, adultery is a sin. It's literally grounds for marriage in the Bible. And when it comes to self-control, why does the man never have self-control in these situations? Why you gotta always bring up single women? Because he's right. You are picking a fight. You should be picking a fight with your husband. Or should I say community business? Because he's definitely not only yours. Because if he's cheating, he's definitely cheating before, gonna cheat again, and probably cheating right now. And what's crazier is you will now use God's name to say, oh, it's because this is a godly relationship. The one where he's currently sinning every single time. And you don't have no ounce of wisdom. Because if you was in your word, you would have some wisdom to leave that relationship. Now you have a community pool at home. Everybody's dipping and dabbing, doing backflips inside. But it's because the single people, we not gonna find nobody. If we're gonna find a man like that, we don't want him. Are you sick or something? You guys need to have more self-love. You have to. Because there's no way I would now go through that situation and then publicly say it outside. Is everybody all right? Is everybody all right? Is everybody all right, well, and okay? And another thing before I log off for today, because that pissed me off. Why don't the man ever have self-control? Why don't the man ever say, I have a lawfully wedded wife that I must stay committed to, that I only have her, I only keep her for the rest of eternity? It's not the wife that must suffer and endure. Baby girl, you can't leave. You want to stay there with your clown nose and clown hair. And then you have a clown as a husband. So continue to have that circus of a nonsense unity. But don't bring single people, don't bring God into it. God left a long time ago, baby girl. I don't know why you can't hear him to tell you to leave, but you decided to stay. That's your own business. That's your own free will. Because if you had that wisdom, you would have been left. Okay.
So glad that we are collectively waking up to the fact that being single is not the worst thing that can happen to you as a woman. Those pastors in America, I cannot even believe what I'm watching. the wife talking about the fact that, she had to put up with her husband's cheating and that God had ordained it on her heart to carry the marriage on her back. So she was ironing his clothes while, he was going out cheating. He basically expressed the fact that she was not his preference, that she was too fat, that she was too tall, that she was not the right color, but he still married her anyway. And now they're giving marriage advice to people, saying that, women who are miserable and single are miserable and single because they do not fight for their relationships, they do not work on their marriages, and that we should all be striving for this type of marriage.
We don't want
Are you kidding me? Being single is the absolute best choice that you can choose if that is an option. Are you delusional? I cannot believe what I'm seeing. So please, I can't believe these people are giving advice. That is the most delusional part about it. But I'm just happy that I do not have to deal with that. The fact that people perpetuate the fact that having tough relationships, having struggle and conflict within their relationships, having, God forbid, affairs within their relationship is something that we should be striving for the greater good, because you don't want to be alone in life. You want to have somebody at the end of your life. Oh my gosh, absolutely not. I will stay single till the day I die if I do not have to endure that.
Kelley Steele is a pygmy, and she's in denial, and she's trying to backpedal. In this interview that she did with Lateris and the psychologist, she's trying to backpedal, and I don't like that. She made it very clear, because I watched the entire thing from the beginning to the end. She made it very clear her tone was that of a pygmy who sees a man as the prize. And then to backpedal in this interview where a psychologist who is more qualified, who can identify abuse when she sees it, who's been trained, who is a trained professional, can acknowledge your pygmy mindset. Y'all tried to gaslight that psychologist when we all heard what you said. Lateris said that women were going to be triggered, and your first response was not to acknowledge the pain of those women. What was your response? That's why you're single. It wasn't to say, well, it's a very real pain and it's justified. I see why women would feel that way. No, babe, you said that's why you're single. A pygmy loves phrases like, at least I have a man.
Yeah.
That's why you're single. Because you see men as the prize. Your self-esteem is in hell, Kelley Steele. And you are not going to backpedal and act like in that interview you were not the poster child for pygmy women all over the universe who already are ride or die for men. You will ride or die for that man, but that should have stayed in your house. Because your marriage is not an example of what these women need to aspire to be and to have. Women should not be a woman like you who stayed through abuse that makes you foolish, and then to put God in it. And then in the interview with the psychologist, had the nerve to say, oh, God didn't lead me there. But in the interview, you very clearly said, God's will. I trusted God's voice over his. I prayed and fasted for my husband to come back, to come back to his right mind. She ain't say the fasted part, but you get me. Y'all really think it's a righteous thing for a woman to be abused, and in the face of abuse to stand up in her prayer closet and say, God, change this man. And even, and this is the thing too, Lateris was over there, because in the interview you try to act like, oh, we know, we're not glorifying. Lateris, every time she talked about what this man did and then said, but I didn't leave, I had faith, you were over there like, yes, God. Yes, God. As to make it seem like a commendable thing to suffer. Long suffering in marriage is not supposed to be abuse. To make it seem like women want a perfect man when all women want to do is to be respected, honored, cherished from the very beginning. A woman should not have to earn a man being faithful to her. She should not have to earn a man talking to her like he got some sense. She should not have to earn those things. And y'all really pissed me off with that interview. And you know you wrong. You did it for clicks and likes and engagement. At this point, Dear Future Wifey podcast is a joke. Because you can't tell me you enjoy embarrassing women, maybe because you cheated on your first wife. It's like, it's a shit show. You make marriage look like a joke. You make it look like a joke. My God. No, it's any woman. That is not your fate in life. That is not your lot in life. You don't have to sit there and deal with that. That's foolish. She was stupid for that. She was dumb. She wanted to be loved so bad. That's the reality. He told you was too big, and you're not his usual type, and you started losing weight. You're a pick me. You wanted to be picked desperately. Somebody ain't love you all the way right.
Yep.
Kelley Steele. And you wanted that husband so bad. You suffered through. We don't know if you stayed for the kids. That could very well be a possibility. She thought, well, I'm already 3 kids in. I got to sit here. Because there's a lot that goes through our mind. When we in abusive situations, we consider all things.
Yep.
Speaking from experience. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Ex-Christian here. Ex-Hebrew Israelite here. Held my husband down. You feel me? Smiled in other people's faces, but behind closed doors, he calling me out my name, putting his hands on me. But I'm covering him because in the presence of other people, he got to still be looked at like a king. He got to still be revered. I cared about his image. But behind closed doors, he was not loving me. And y'all need to stop spreading that falsehood. Is bullshit, is what it is.
Please go down in the comment section, share your thought. Love to know what you think about this entire conversation down. Hold on. The entire conversation down in the comment section. The fact that this pastor is coming back telling women this is why they are single. But please, as always, you guys know how we do it here. We're just here to have conversation. Please be respectful down in the comment section. We're allowed to disagree. Disagreement is highly welcome here. We're just here to have conversation, okay? If you stand for her, if you agree, if you disagree, it's all fine here, okay? This is something we talk about here, and a lot of you guys have been on the channel. You know how I feel about this, and I will keep on bringing videos like this so that we keep having this type of conversation over and over again. Like I said in the first part of this video, where she talked about how she was ironing clothes for her man to go see the side chick and all that. I said, this is a pick me. This is a desperate woman that just so want a man so bad that a man is a prize. That is a pick me vibe. And the fact that now she's just throwing shades at single women, for me, it makes me laugh. There are lots of married women, especially the ones that has written the hands on the wall and now know, like, okay, I'm in it. A lot of married men wish they were single. So when you talk about, oh, that is why you're single, are you really happy in your marriage where you are ironing your husband's clothes to go and see his side chick when the man you are claiming to have is telling you how he doesn't like you, how you're not his preference, how you're not beautiful? Is that happiness? Like, honestly, won't you rather be single rather than to be in a situation like this where somebody keeps talking down out you, keep calling out your name like that? Won't you rather be single? A lot of the time when women, coming from a woman that is married, I myself am married, I've been married for almost 12 years. Coming from a woman that is married, a lot of the time, single women feel like they are missing out on something. I remember I was talking to one of my single friend, I think she's the only single friend I have right now, and I was telling her, like, girl, you're not missing anything. Go on and work hard, make your money, enjoy your life, do what you need to do. And you're like, oh, I really need a man, I want babies, and I was like, girl, you ain't missing nothing. Like, you ain't missing, especially when you want to do the traditional marriage type. The traditional marriage type is hell for women. I'm telling you, it is hell for women. Coming for somebody that has everybody around that married, my friends, my sisters, I know what I'm talking about. And this one, I'm not even talking about even when there's an abuse like this, so a mental and emotional abuse like this. So just the entire structure of it is hell. Then I added abuse like this, emotional abuse and psychological abuse to it. You're losing your mind. And then you have, and this is why pick me women, and this is why, like I keep telling single women, don't allow this pick me women get under your skin, because when they say misery loves company, that's exactly, they want you to come and taste what's going on. Rather than her facing the consequences of what her husband did to her, she's here calling out single women like, oh, that is why you're single, because they don't want a struggle of, because they don't want to lower their standard. Ladies, don't ever lower your standard. Don't ever settle for anything, because that's a lot of things that a lot of women did. They went on to settle just because the man is the prize. They went on to settle for something that does not serve them. They saw all the red flags, but they're like, so far I have a man, just as far as I have a man is the most important thing. And now they are there and they are married single women. They can't enjoy life. And then some of them end up having children, and now it's almost like they are stuck. They can't go anywhere. A man is not the prize. You are the prize. If he doesn't fit into the life you want, if his mission in life, if his core values does not align with you, let it go. Don't ever compromise your life, or what you want out of life, what you want out of marriage, what you want out of a partnership for anybody, just for the fact that you get the prize in man. Because the truth is that a lot of women did that. Oh, lot of women did that. The truth is that, ladies, your happiness comes from with you. When pick me women do things like this, I just roll my eyes because they are miserable. And she coming back to come and backpedal and say, oh, it's just a short clip. This thing happened a long time ago for 36 months. That's 4 years. Almost 4 years. So for almost 4 years, come on. That man only stopped shitting. That's if he has stopped shitting. That man only stopped shitting because he was no longer, people didn't want him. The street does not want him anymore. That's why he came back home to you and you took him. See, if you're single, focus on yourself. Focus on your life. Do the things that make you happy. Have a strong support system. If you have a man, I don't have anything against having a man being a partner with anybody. I don't have anything against it. If you find a man that loves you the way you want to be loved, that treats you the way you want, do it. But or else don't ever settle, because you'll be miserable. I'm telling you, you will be miserable. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this guy. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.